Am I audible?
Audible. Yes, yes, you're audible, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
sir.
will be. Yeah, I will be trying to share my presentation, right? Whether my PPT is visible,
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir.
it's fine now, clear now.
Yes, sir.
It is moving now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. A very good evening to each and everyone. Okay, this is actually the weekend, and the topic selected is like a very very important topic. But it is a need of the hour being a developing country like India, because there are lots of number of webinars, offline conferences where lots of research related proceedings has been taken in India, because India is a developing country getting good resources, but the outcome as well as the global publication rates are very very less. So why the global publication rates are very less means the 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 world, the global reviewers from UK, USA, they are looking the publications and the research to be in a sequential manner. Okay, so if there is some deficiency, there is always a possibility of rejection. Okay, so they expect each and everything to be in accordance with the good clinical practice (ICS), and from which this clinical trial protocol and information brochure I have taken most of the points and it will be discussed today. So, coming as a whole, the objective and the rationale of having a protocol. What is the need? It is the requirement of the section which is going to deal the scientific rationale for a protocol, and the justification in the medical and the scientific literature for the hypothesis being processed. Okay. So always, whenever we are looking into a protocol, there will be always an introductory section. But and the issue with the introductory section is people will keep writing the content even from 1947. Okay, that is actually not needed. Okay, what is your study? What is your clinical research? Just restrict with that one. Look for the information which is very close to the years. Don't go for the years in 1960. It was a scenario. 1980 it is a scenario. 2010 it is a scenario. Like that. Don't go too much. The introductory section should be, it's very relevant to the research in the close proximity, and it should be organized as a logical sequential flow. So, what is the purpose of a clinical research is to gain the new knowledge about a new or an established treatment that we are going to put in the protocol. So, this is the proper definition of a clinical trial protocol. It is a document containing the background, objective, what is the rationale of the study, what is the study design, what is the methodology, like how you will be doing the study, how you will be taking care of the drugs or the management conduct, how after collecting the data, how you are going to analysis, and if there is during the research, if there is any occurrence of any event, adverse event means any sort of injury or any sort of side effects or any sort of severe adverse reaction, how you are going to capture it, the data, and how you are going to report, and how you are going to withdraw the patients, and after all these things, what is the final data which what we have and how we are going to apply the statistical consideration, and after doing all these things, how we are going to keep the data for how many years regarding this clinical trial. Okay, so this is a document, full document which describes each and every component. So as per the NDC Depicts New Drug Clinical Trial Rules 2019, this clinical trial protocol document means what is the content. Everything is mentioned in the third schedule, and, and these are the rules. Because these things we cannot able to mark them. Just I'm saying, it is mentioned in the third schedule. What is the components of the clinical trial protocol? So again, coming to the contents of the proposed protocol for conducting a clinical trial. Okay, so as usual, whenever you are going to start with the protocol, whatever or whenever you are going to write a study as a proposal, the first page should be the title page. Okay, so what are the contents? Major contents of the title pages? Major six contents. Okay, what is the full title of the clinical study? So please be oriented. It should be the full title. Next comes the protocol number. Whether you are writing for the first time or the version, or it is a revision of some other protocol being submitted. Okay. So it is the protocol study number and the protocol version number in the day. The investigation due and name or number. So this is very, very important as a clinical trial, which comprises the regulatory part. Okay. So which drug you are being used and what is the name of the drug and what is their number as per their band. That's the complete address of the sponsor and the contract research organization. Okay, so this is if for example, if the investigator is from any of the academic institute, along with this one, it will be added like investigator name, this their institutional affiliation and site location. So this is the identity of who is the company and who is the sponsor and who is the investigator taking at the study. And whenever, because the first break should contain along with the investigator what are the facilities being available in that setup and who is the head of the facilities and what are the like approval being applied for various laboratories. These details should be there in the title page. So table of contents. So first and foremost is the background and the introduction. So whenever you are looking into the background and introduction of any proposal protocol, it should comprise both the things, like the preclinical exposure as well as the clinical exposure. What is this? So there is a previous clinical work might be there with a new drug, but it should be reviewed and a description of how the current protocol extends the existing data. It should be provided as a preclinical experience. Okay, so we have to dissect the experience which we obtained from the preclinical experience. For example, if I'm planning to do a phase 3 clinical trial, it is my mandate to look into the phase 1 and phase 2 information, and we have to incorporate that information into the phase 3 clinical trial. Like what is the safety, what is the adverse reaction happened in the phase 2, who are the people risk when we are planning for the phase 3. So these are the information which we can get the detail from the preclinical experience, and this should be the part of the background. And if it is entirely new indication, for example, I am taking in the phase 1 study, so we should be giving the information how it is varies from, if for example the drug is being used for some other purpose, but this is a new indication, and we have to give the details in other condition, what are the efficacy, what are the adverse reactions that are being seen. So that information it has to be provided. And regarding other things regarding the drug, like pharmacological, toxicological, and properties and other biological properties of the drug or biological or medical device and the previous efficacy safety, it should also be described. So this is the major background and introduction, and with which it will logistically and logically it will take to the subsequent section. So study rationale. So it is the main part because we cannot do a study simply for the sake of getting a credit. Okay. So what is the purpose of doing a clinical trial or clinical research is to bring you the new knowledge or to add a new knowledge into the existing literature. Okay. So that will be a proper rationale. So how you are going to show the rationale? So there should be a brief summary of the background information which is relevant to the study design or protocol methodology, and the reason why you are performing this study in particular population has to be the major rationale. Okay. So if you are planning for a pediatric study, if there are lots of adult study, but you are the first time you are taking pediatric study, you have to justify yourself. Since there is no data or the scarce data to pediatric population, so this study is mandated to be conducted. So these are the rationale for doing a study. So next is after writing the rationale, then you are looking into the objective. So you have found that I want to see the effect of some drug in the pediatric population. So in order to see that, what will be your objective? What you will be doing, or which parameter you will be looking to come to the conclusion what you are searching for or for what you are exploring for. So that is the objective. And in that it might be a primary objective or secondary objective. Primary objective is directly like it might be an efficacy of a drug or a number of people who is cured of the disease. All these things will be coming into the primary objective. Secondary is most of the time drug-related trial. The secondary will be most of the time is the safety of the drug, safety of the new drug or safety of the old drug which is used for the new indication. So most of the settings of the clinical trial document, secondary will be the uh, serious adverse events or adverse reaction. And the follow-up period, what are the features we can able to capture? Okay, so this will be the secondary objective. So in some of the clinical trials, we will look into the primary endpoints and the secondary endpoints. Objective is what we are going to look into to to understand our research question. Okay. In that, what could be the endpoints? Like if I'm looking at how many people are converting into, like the person is responding to a treatment, it will be an efficacy or objective type range. That what will be the endpoint range? Like how many people have changed in positive to negative value from this cutoff range to this cutoff range. That range or that will be specified outcome or endpoints. Okay. It might be also be added in the clinical protocol. Then comes the type, design of the trial to be conducted like double-blinded, placebo-controlled, parallel design, and a schematic diagram of a trial design procedure and stages should be a part of the clinical protocol. So there is one more important area. Whenever we are looking into the various methodology or design or anything, we are always will be at the risk of making some bias. Okay, in order to minimize the bias, we always ethical or it is a standard as per the GCP or whatever of the ATCP Clinical Trial Act. The randomization and blinding information has to be a part of the proper clinical trial. So, in addition, a description of the trial treatment, the dosage regimen of the investigation product, dosage forms, packing, and labeling of the investigation product could be the part of the clinical protocol. So, apart from that, these are additional things should be the part of the trial design, like what is the expected duration of the study participant. Okay, so like because prior we have to make it very clear why means whenever we are putting this protocol to the institutional review board or any other regulatory authority for approval, like we should not target, we should not trouble the patient or we should not trouble the participant, like you should come repeatedly and like we should not unnecessarily for the benefit of a trial, we should not write too much. So it should be a very clear that sequential information regarding their participation, what will be the sequence and duration of all trial periods, follow-up, and what is the what will be the maximum duration of the follow-up. These information has to be a part of the clinical trial. Okay. So another very important thing is the stopping rules and the discontinuation criteria for individual subjects, parts of the trial and the entire trial. It should be very clearly mentioned. Like what is the stopping rules? The stopping rules might be from the investigator side or it is from the participant side. Okay, so regarding that we have to be, for example, investigator side with for I might be looking for liver function test, and if there is a 3 times or 6 times more than the value with, I will have that criteria. Okay, we can do that one. Like we can give an option for a withdrawal. So this is all from the investigator side. Sometimes the participant may not be in compliance with the protocol. Like if we are advising him to take the drug regularly, or if we are advising them not to take the alcohol during the study period, if it's not obeying with, then there is always a reason for we can remove the participant from the study since he's not compliant. Or something known as discontinuation criteria means based upon case-to-case basis, accordingly, we have to put mark in our clinical trial protocol. So these are the other two things, like we should maintain all the documents sincerely, seriously, all these things. How much years I will be maintaining the document, it will be mentioned as a part of the protocol. So again, coming to the study design. Okay. So what is the study design? So it should be like an overview, the description of the study type, which I have already told, like it might be a prospective, placebo control, or comparator, or open label, like the description of the study type, the detail of the specific treatment group, number of study subjects in each group, investigative site, subject number, assignment, time, type, sequence, and duration of the study period. So these are all components of the study design. So you can show it as a very good flow chart and a brief description of the methods and the procedures you are supposed to do during the study can be written. And finally, a discussion of the study design. Why I have taken this study design can be an additional point for the protocol. So coming to the study population, the number of subjects which is required to be enrolled in the study at the investigator side. It means that, for example, if you are conducting a single center trial, okay, there is a 1-to-1. So I need to recruit around 100 people in the site. Okay, if it is multi-centric, at their site, which will be the, what will be the, for example, the total multi-centric size sample size is around 200 bits. If I'm looking at the 10 site, so per site it is 20. Okay, so we have to mention that the percent it should be 20, but that should be also mentioned that if, for example, if the sample size is 200, if any of the sites have included more people and completed the study also, it is acceptable. So that should be a minimum sample size that has to be taken from a particular site. And nowadays, the regulators are very much keen in knowing the clinical trial or whichever it has to be half done in the government center and half in the private sector, so that the data will be very much authenticated. So these are things which we have to look into. So next is subject eligibility. So that should be a proper inclusion criteria. Who is your targeted population? What should be the age, or what should be the sex, and whether they are regarding the cancer and regarding the particular disease condition, and like that it will be your inclusion criteria. And exclusion criteria is, it's like these people, the people who start willing to give consent and already they are part of other clinical trial, or if they're having a similar condition for which they have been treated for some time, and the period with which they cannot able to continue the study, and any other multi-organ involvement or organ like any other comorbid conditions which will interfere in the result of this study will be excluded, and this will be done on the case-to-case basis. Next is the study assessment. We have to be very much clear what will be the plan of assessment. Further, there are subsequent, like for example, there will be pre-screening, like screening, then there will be a day of randomization, and after that they will be giving the drug for a certain period, and which time they are going to look for the outcome or the objective, as per the objective, the period, first year, second, third, like that, subsequently they will be looking. So these are the study assessment plan we have to mention in the clinical trial. Next, before only I have told that there is an inclusion of the subject, there is always a something known as subject withdrawal criteria. Okay, that is, we are terminating an investigation product treatment or the trial treatment and procedures specifically when and how to withdraw subject from the trial or investigational product treatment. That is what I have told. For example, if I'm looking at the LFT is elevating. If there is a 2-level, 3-level, we have to withdraw the patients. Okay, because our main intention is we should not harm the patient or the participant at any cost, because we are doing the research for welfare of the community only. So nobody can be a prey for this trial. The type and timing of the data to be collected for the withdrawn patient. So this is we have to be ensured. Whether and how the subject has to be replaced. Whether we have to replace with a patient, or whether the same patient can be involved further. So all this information has to be a part of the clinical trial. The follow-up for subjects withdrawn from the investigative report has to be mentioned. For example, this is very, very important, because if they are removed from the clinical trial, because they have consented to participate in the clinical trial, we have given the assurance that anything if you have happened during the course of study, we will be taking care of the treatment, everything. And so we should ensure the same thing to the patient. Okay, even if the withdrawal, even though if they are willing to participate, but as per our withdrawal criteria, we also, it is our core duty to take care of the follow-up of the subject who has been withdrawn from the trial. So this is the humanity responsibility of the principal trial, the principal investigator and the sponsors to look in the last important point of follow-up for the subject withdrawal. So what are the study activities that would be included? Okay, so these are the various components. It varies from case to cases. So what is the medical history? Okay, so because whether he is fitting to our indication or not. And apart from that, there should be a physical examination, ECG, diagnostic testing such as pulmonary function test, or because as per the case-to-case basis, sometimes our drug may have an impact on the pulmonary also. So the baseline things has to be evaluated. Subject cohort assignment, adverse event reviews, there is anything here, how it will be, the process will be taken care, all these things should be there. We should mention as a part of the study activities. And when the visit has been planned, what are the various visits, what is the rationale for the visits, and whether during the visits, what are the further investigation will be done, whether how the patient is compensated for the various visits, all this should be a part of activities that will be included in the clinical protocol. So I told that discontinued subject, we have to ensure that their care should be taken during the follow-up period. What is the circumstance at which the subject has been withdrawn, and what are the reasons for the dropouts. So this is also a study. During the part of the study, we have to anticipate all these things and we have to look all these factors. When you are looking into the dropout, we should be able to state how we can able to manage, or how we can able to replace, or how is there any need of a change in the protocol so that these dropouts may be reduced. Because when we are saying there is a practical difficulty, that there is a visit issue. So in that, this can be like in anticipation we can mention the same thing. Okay, so this is also should be the part of the study activities. And the person who approves such waivers should also be identified, and criteria used for specific waivers should be provided. So this note like that we have to mention in the protocol. And these people, the people who is traveling more than 90 kilometers, can be given a concession, and these are the reasons like that we have to mention. So this time how protocol violation will be treated, including condition where the study will be terminated for not coming to the protocol. This, like what I have told, the withdrawal criteria from the aspect of the sponsor or from the aspect of the patients will have come in this area, like how the protocol has been violated, or the violation, whether it is really violated or everything has been conveyed to the, whether it will be conveyed accordingly to the IEC and then it will be done. All these things should be a part of the clinical trial protocol. So if you're looking into the clinical trial protocol regarding the study treatment, so already I have told that what is the drug, or what is the formulation you are taking, what is the mode of administration, and whether what is the dosage, how we are going to mix the drug, how we are going to give, how we are going to make the placebo, how we are going to blind. Everything has to be very clearly mentioned. Okay, and this is during the study part. Before that, you are getting a drug to the institute or to the clinical trial site. How we are going to ship the drug from the company to the hospital or investigator site, how it is going to be checked, how it is going to be stored, what are the details of the drug should be mentioned, and how it is going to, how frequently the drug which is stored will be reviewed. Everything has to be a part of the study treatment because we begin that drug. So if during the course of the study, if there is a possibility that there is a one level increase or one level increase or two level increase in any of the parameters, organ parameters, a liver or a renal, is that any protocol of reducing the dose as per the changes in the laboratory criteria. This part also has to be added to the clinical trial protocol based upon the preclinical experience or from the information browser which is containing the animal information. Okay, so this is very much important. Next is study treatment. Again, I have told in addition to that one, we have to look for the possible drug interactions, concomitant therapy, which is allowed and which is not allowed. What is the blinding procedure? How we are going to blind? Okay, for example, in the case if somebody developed reaction, so automatically we have to rescue the patient. So then what is the protocol of unblinding, or you are going to broke the code? All these things should be very properly written in the clinical trial protocol. So I have told that during the objective I have told, endpoint I have told. So it will be assessed by some sort of parameters. Okay, so you have to be very much clear what are those parameters, which is the timeline you are going to look into the parameters. For example, this drug may have an effect on LFT base. So what is the basic LFT? What it is going to happen within 1 week of the administration of the drug? What is after 14 days? All these things should be the important thing which has to be looked into it. Assessment of safety. Okay, so I have told you that the secondary objective or the secondary point of the point will more focused on the safety. So assessment of safety is to be very much clearly mentioned what you are going to assess, whether you are going to assess morphologically or whether you are going to assess a laboratory thing, and how you are going to record the assessment, and if there is any area, how you are going to report, whom you are going to report, and how what are the action you are going to take on that area adverse drug reaction treatment. Okay, so all these things will be in the assessment of safety. Next is adverse events. Okay, so this is a very core area. So if you are looking into it, so that will be an anticipated and expected adverse event. Okay, for example, that one may cause some, because we have a previous clinical exposure, or we have some data from the previous global study. We are doing it here, so we have some information on that one. So we have to mention that the clinical trial. So this drug is having this actually in a particular system. So we can anticipate these are the areas. So even the small complaint or the information which is being given by the participant cannot be ignored, and it has to be noted as various category of reaction. So this categorization of the information regarding the adverse event should be a part of the clinical trial. Next, how you are going to evaluate the adverse, it should be described secondary. Okay, so which scale you are using, whether you are going to use a WHO, because most of the clinical trial with relevant to the regulator, they will be looking into the WHO mostly, causality assessment scale. So when you can write WHO causality assessment scale and going to use. In addition, I will be adding director scale also as per the local local SOP also. These are the other scales we will be using accordingly. You have to mention in the clinical trial protocol. So first and foremost is the safety of the participant. So ethical consideration. So whenever you are planning to write a protocol, so you have to make a justify yourself what is the risk benefit. Okay, how it is going to create a benefit for the participant, and what is the protocol. You will have that there will be acceptance that the protocol will be submitted to the institutional review committee, and as per their discussion for approval or for any changes, it will be further taken up. Okay, so most of the ethical consideration will be here like a concern for only. Whether you have to be very much clear who is your target population, which language you are going to use for communicating with the patient or the participant, and what are the components of the informed consent form. All these things should be mentioned. So this is a very important document. It should be attached with that of the clinical trial protocol. So the statement of subject confidentiality, including ownership of the data and coding procedures, it should be mentioned because some of the pharmaceutical sponsor a clinical trial for the doctors in government sector. Always there is an issue of this ownership. Okay, so all these things should be very clearly mentioned. Like interim analysis of the data cannot be published. If it is published, what is the important reason, condition or justification can be given to look into the interim analysis. All these things should be prior informed mentioned in the clinical trial protocol. So this is a very important study monitoring and supervision. Okay. So in a clinical trial protocol, you are going to say that I am going to maintain the files properly, and it will be archived, and there is a group with which all these things will be maintained, and any time during a post this will be shown to the sponsors or the central licensing authority or anybody who is having the suspicious over the trial. So all these things we have to ensure that all the policies, all the insurance, all the CRF related case record of related, all the things we will have a monitoring, what sort of monitoring, who will be the monitors, whether any data monitoring mode is there, all these things will be mentioned in the clinical trial protocol. So next coming to the investigational product management. So what is this? This is a clinical trial. We are looking into the efficacy of some XYZ drugs for a particular condition, and in my doing so, I should ensure that whether the investigation product description, packaging, everything is proper, whether the precise dosing required during the study is mentioned, whether the method of packaging, labeling, and guiding study substance are appropriate, and method of assigning treatment to the subject and identifying code and numbering system are mentioned. All these things, all the component has to be mentioned in the clinical health protocol under the heading of investigational product management. So these are the various components that should be considered in the clinical health protocol that we are looking into or writing. In additional storage condition, I have told previously storage condition for the steady substances. So what is the accountability? Okay, like from where you got, what is the time you got, at the time, what is the temperature it has been we have received, whether we are maintaining the same temperature, whether the drug taken to the administration site will be whether they have to maintain the same temperature within the premises, or whether the IP investigation product can be used in the investigator site or any other satellite site. All the information regarding the investigation product, it has to be mentioned under the management, because there are very clear instruction by the government of India, like the regulators, that, for example, if I am a principal investigator for a study in AIDS, Raipur, like there is a very clear instruction that before, like during the COVID, it was little bit relaxed, but now again they were instructed the sponsors not to move the investigation product out of the primary investigator site. Okay, because it will catch undue like a media attention, or if there is any undue reaction also, it has to be maintained in the multi hospital center. All these things will be a problem. So we have to ensure that whatever the drug you are going to do, because that is the international product. Okay, we should be very much careful in handling all those things, and it has to be mentioned prior in the clinical trial protocol that I am not going to use the thing if there is that IP would be taken out of the preliminary cell. So then comes the various data analysis as opposed to the case-to-case basis. What is the sample size? How will we have determined based upon the efficacy of the previous study or dropouts? All these things will be useful for analyzing the sample size. And obviously, phase 3, phase 4, if you are going with, we have a data on phase 1, phase 2. With that efficacy, we can looking into the primary endpoint. We can plan for the sample size which is needed for the single center or the multi center. So then we have to mention what is the various variables, parameters we are going to look into. What are the statistical analysis parameters or non-parametric tests we are going to use. All these things should be mentioned prior to the clinical trial protocol. So this is a very important point, because we will be very much oriented with all, because we will be very much careful, because as a clinician, as a doctor, we will be very much oriented that we should take the care of the patient at the utmost priority. But sometimes we fail to follow or undertake or make a signature properly. So I request all the people who are participant here, whenever there is an undertaking given by the investigator, be oriented what are the points you should ensure, and you cannot say that I don't know all these points. Okay, so please be oriented. First, undertaking the investigator, this is like a title page. This is the thing of full name, address, and title of the principal investigator. What is his date? Where he is overpicked? What is his FCA registration? Or what is his additional qualification? and where the investigation is proposed, whether the investigation is proposed in the same setup or any other lab, what is the name of the investigation, institutional ethical committee board, and the affiliation or address, who are the other co-investigators, whether they are qualified, what comes the protocol title with the study number if any. So this is very, very, very important. Please be oriented. Because most of the time when somebody is getting an opportunity to do a clinical trial, they will the regulator, the company or sponsors may send one or two undertaking investigator copy. Like we have to ensure that they will be sending the investigator copy, simultaneously they will be sending the protocol. We will read the protocol. After looking into the feasibility, we will immediately sign the investigators undertaking. But these are the important components because it will be for 2-3 pages. We will be always busy and we will immediately will sign it. So I have put this as a very, very important slide. I had reviewed the clinical trial protocol and agreed. Okay, then I will follow the necessary information to conduct the study. And I will start the study only after getting the ethics or regulatory approval. So this is the first point which is mentioned in the undertaking. So this is the first point, please be ensured. What is the second point? I will conduct the study as per the current protocol, which follows the good clinical practice or whichever guidelines local to the place where the study is being conducted. Okay, so this is very, very important. Number 3, I will personally conduct or supervise the clinical at my site. This is very important because people will get, but they want to go to the site. The co-investigator will be doing, or other people from the team might be doing. So this is very important. So we cannot escape. Okay. So this is next regarding the informed consent or regarding the information regarding the drug, the conditions, everything. It is the duty of the principal investigator with the team to inform all the trial participants. And he should ensure that the safety, the consent, and all the approval of the ethics committee will be as per the NDCT Act of the Good Clinical Practice Plan, right? If the studies are legal. So, and he also should be agreed to report the sponsors on the adverse experience as per the Good Clinical Practice Guideline. And he should also be oriented regarding information investigator brochures. Okay, what is the potential risk? And because if you're looking into the protocol of some study, you will think that it is very easy, we have a very good experience. But the FDA or the people who initially did the preclinical clinical study, they might give a lots of warnings. Okay, that warning may sometimes happen in our setup. Okay, so you should be very much ensured that after reading the investigator brochure, only I have to print notice acceptance. So this is a very important thing. Then, as a principal investigator, you should ensure that the team with which you are working, they are qualified, they are GCP certified. If they are not GCP certified, right, to make them train in that one. They are clinically sound, but they don't have a certificate, train them and look for all these things. So this should be written in the, or it should be in the signature you are making in the undertaking. And you should always ensure the maintenance of adequate and accurate records for future audit or the for showing to the central licensing authority. And this is very, very important. Whenever you are seeing something which was not mentioned in the protocol or which was not seen in the information brochure, it is your core duty to report to the institutional ethical committee to take a decision whether, with the help of them, whether you can change or you can go with the further continuation of the study. And also, you are mandated to agree to inform all the serious adverse events to the central licensing authority or to the sponsors as well as to the ethical committee within 24 hours of their appearance. So you need to sign this one. Next is, so there are 13 points. Okay, the undertaking by the investigator, I am speaking to the 13 points. And the report of ADR, if after due analysis, see, first 24 hours is as soon as whatever reaction you got, you have to mention. Do analysis with whether the event happened is purely because of the drug or any other comorbid conditions. So there is a period, 40 days to the AEC or a maximum 28 days to the central licensing authority. So this should be very much important. And I will maintain the confidentiality of the identification of all the participating substances, like coding. This is very, very important. No cost, you cannot reveal anyone's condition anywhere. Okay. So apart from this, you have to agree that whichever requirement needed by the IEC, whichever requirement needed by the local policy, hospital or district, you have to abide. So looking all into these various aspects, you are supposed to sign the undertaking. So please, area of the budding investigators, kindly look into all these things because you are very much capable. But any of these things, if you are deviating, you will be under trouble. Okay, so please be oriented. There is something known as protocol amendment. So what is this? Okay, any change to the protocol document or the informed consent that affect the scientific intent, study design, patient safety, or human subject protection is considered as an amendment and therefore must be approved by the ethical committee and regulatory authority. Okay, so if you think protocol amendment, for example, you would have told 70 visits. Okay, but during the period you came to know that people are not at all coming. If it is going like that, they are not coming because only thing is they cannot come to the institute. Okay, so in that case, when you are looking into a certain changes, as per the same, definitely have to inform to the institutional ethical committee, or if there is a need of additional two, for example, already there are five visits, but you need to include 2 visits, then you have to again go for the protocol amendment, justifying what is the purpose of 2 additional visits, how this can be compensated by logistic or monetary. Everything has to be written in the protocol amendment and duly not approved by the institutional ethical committee and the same from the central licensing or the regulatory authorities. So a few content regarding the information vouchers. So it is a compilation of clinical as well as non-clinical data of the investigational product. Okay, that are relevant to the study and the product in the human subject. This is what I told. During the undertaking by the principal investigator, he is needed to read this investigator voucher and he should know what is the potential risk. Okay, then only he has to go for the further signing of the protocol. What is the purpose? It is a clinical, non-clinical data of the investigation product for the submission of ethical committee for review, and it should be at least annually reviewed because during the study which is done in India, there might be an additional phase 2 study which might be done in other part of the country. They would have added some information. So we have to ensure who are the ensuring people. The sponsors of the clinical trial are ensuring people, but the principal investigator has to be oriented with the sponsors to do this properly. Okay, so this is what. So the sponsor is responsible for ensuring the up-to-date information of the information voucher, and the investigator is responsible for providing the up-to-date information to the responsible institutional review board or institutional ethical committee in relation with the sponsors. So these are the components of the like the information voucher, like it should contain a title with confidentiality statement, table of content, summary, what is the introduction for which the product has been planned, what is the physical, chemical, pharmaceutical and formulations, what is the results of the non-clinical studies, what is the effect in the first time in humans, what is the pharmacokinetic or bioavailability in humans, and what is the safety or if there is any marketing experience in case of surgery or anything that has been mentioned, and what is the summary, the overall summary of the data or the efficacy of the safety data, and it should be a proper guidance from the investigator who can look into the investigation product. May not be a very big risk for the taking of the clinical study. And so this is an information voucher, and it is always a clinical trial protocol has to be having this IP, and most of the time the institutional ethical committee and the regulatory authorities, they will look into his IP very keenly so that they will even the things which is not mentioned in the central protocol, it the information can be taken from the IB and it can be a area of discussion by the IEC for questioning the objective. Okay. So with this, I conclude my session and I thank each and everyone for this patient listening. And now I'm open for any discussion. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
So from my side, it is over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. A feedback link will be shared. Those who are filling the feedback link will get their e-certificates as well. Can you share the link, please? Yeah.
As per queries.
If there is any queries, kindly let me know because actually there are only limited centers who is conducting a very good clinical trial because recently I have spoken a topic of challenges in conducting clinical trial or clinical studies in developing country. Okay, like India. So I know how difficult to conduct a clinical trial and most of the setup in India. So, since I have been involved in these sort of activities, I can able to say which is the important area which we have to be very much careful, or which are the documents we have to very much careful in keeping as the clinical trial protocol. Even though there was a very good guideline, let's say during the clinical trial, they also have the content whichever I have presented because I have taken the references from GCP, ICH, GCP as well as NDCT only. So it's like anytime also after this webinar also if somebody is having interest to know can contact also. So it will be a very good forum that if from developing countries we can contribute for some good quality researchers.
Are you done, sir? Are you done, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So thank you, sir. That was a real excellent presentation from your side as well, and it was very informative. And with this, we are closing the session, and I can able to tell you there is another event which is actually scheduled for next week, which is on 23rd 11th 2022 on the topic of machine learning and its research perspective. And it was a resource person is Dr. G. Nalini Priya, Professor, Department of Information Technology, Sabita Engineering College, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. So you can book your slots, and we'll look forward for you guys to come and attend the webinar. And madam, shall we wait for a while to complete the forms?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will wait for a while till
Yeah.
the participants finish filling the feedback.
Sure.
So participants kindly fill the feedback form so that you will get the e-certificate in your mail. So thank you, sir. Thank you for your webinar, sir. That is a wonderful session we had.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Yes, Anugya. Is there
Yeah, yeah.
anybody?
Somebody has raised your hand.
Yes. Hope everyone has filled the feedback form. If anyone has not yet finished filling the feedback form, kindly finish it. We have to close the session. Have you all filled the feedback link?
Actually, so hello. Many people are asking that 1 to 5. What it is?
Yes, sir.
One is good or what is worst like that?
Yes, sir.
Because it is on both sides, na?
Yes,
Without
sir.
without any thing, it might be considered first also. It might be considered as worst also. Okay, just inform the
Yes, sir.
people because I received a message now whether one is a good score or 5 is good score.
Yes, sir. Five is the good score, sir. Five
Yeah, that is what.
in incremental order only we have kept, sir.
Yeah. No.
So they have filled, sir. 15 of them only have filled the feedback form, and so I'm waiting. Okay, sir. Shall we close the session then, sir?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Yes, sir. Sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Pradeep, sir. Thank you, sir. Well, sir.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I will close the session now, sir. Okay, thank you, everyone.